Well, well, well. After many false starts, welcome to Realities May Vary, the podcast that really is not as tech savvy as we would have you to believe. I'm Brian Noonan. With me, as always, the well coiffed, the always prepared. Look at all the notes from Cody Gough.
Oh, I have
You
so many
got all that
notes
stuff there.
from so many episodes. A historic look back at all my notes from episodes. What's on the docket today? Well, Brian hosted a big event that I unfortunately could not attend, and he'll tell you about that, how that went. Brian's also changing his look. I don't know how, but we'll find out how. I volunteered at a thing, which was nice.
Ooh.
Volunteering is
Uh-oh.
uh-oh. Am I connected?
You were chopping up a little.
We are
We have had nothing but horror. We were going to start on time, but we have had nothing but unbelievably horrible technical difficulties so far.
Yeah, this is like a new peak for technical difficulties for us. But as I was saying, it's been about a month since the eclipse, but I did drive to see that. I'm not going to recount the whole thing, but I have a couple highlights or lowlights
Please
to
do.
cover from that. But before then, a quick little 30-second check-in. Well, and we have a major announcement, I guess, that we're about to start the show with. But for my quick check-in, I don't know. I'm actually great. I'm actually great for many reasons we'll get into
Wow.
after the announcement, I guess. So I'll
That's
kind of
very
save it
nice.
for them. But I'm just jamming, jiving, juking and jiving, getting ready.
Wow, juking and jiving, both
Juking,
of them?
a lot of juking. I'll be honest. I was just on Twitter. I just saw some buzz about the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight.
Oh,
That
okay.
I'm weirdly I'm gonna watch it. Like I don't
Oh,
know
yeah,
anything about boxing. I don't care about boxing that much, but like, come on. Like that's a money match.
oh, of course. Well, that's why they're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, get Mike Tyson. I have a feeling, Logan Paul's been doing fine, but, Mike Tyson still I would not wanna take a punch from Mike Tyson,
No.
ever, ever. He could be on his deathbed, and even if he takes a swing at you, it's something's gonna hurt.
Yeah, no, the videos of him training are
Yes.
horrifying. I mean, you're just okay. But they just announced, I don't know if this is true, but hot off the press, it will be an officially sanctioned boxing match.
Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, that's what one tweet said. So, check
Oh,
my
well, if
math
one
on that.
tweet said it, then it must be true.
Well, let's see. Tyson, Paul. I bet if I Google it, it'll tell me in about 1 second. Yep, ESPN.com. Headline 11 hours ago. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul to be sanctioned professional fight.
Really?
Also covered by The Independent and sanctioned by Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations. Wait, is sanctioned good or bad? Do we like
Sanctioned
it?
is good. Sanctioned means it means everything is up to snuff. They've cleared the fighters. They're trying to make sure everybody's fine.
Yeah, it's everyone is reporting it, so it's a thing. So yeah.
Everyone is report. Well, if everyone is reporting it, oh, there we go. That's better camera angle.
So but yeah, no, how are you? What's your 30-second?
I'm exhausted, but it's an okay kind of exhausted. I was in a chipper, jovial mood until we went to sign on, and then everything went to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah.
So I don't like being at hell in a handbasket, but we're fine. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm ready. I'm jazzed. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too. We're gonna try and do a short episode tonight. You said an hour, and that's fine. We'll try and wrap
We'll try, but we'll
like
see. We'll see what we can do. We
we'll
got a
try and
lot to
wrap
get.
9:30, 9:45. We'll try and get out of here, but you know.
Yeah, but we started, we were good. Like I said, we were ready. We were both here. And my computer froze twice. My brand new computer. And I was using said computer right before you joined me.
When did you get this computer? How brand new?
A couple of months.
Okay.
Couple of months.
Uh-huh.
It's all there. New tower, it was the one Debbie's the guy at Debbie's work, the IT nerd at Debbie's work recommended it. It's a Dell, little tower right on the desktop.
All right.
Driving a couple of big Dell monitors. Everything's oh man, we got the paid for the big. We've had the high speed internet here for a while. The big one, the
Oh.
the Xfinity Jumbotron, whatever it is, 750,000 megahertz,
Mhm.
something like that. You know,
I think there's 1.21 gigawatts in there.
there could be some gigawatts too. I paid extra. I don't know. They sign you up. I pay the bill. Gigawatts, megawatts, gigalots, hopabots. A lot of gerbils running around. I don't know what the hell's going on in there.
Sure, yeah, I
But
mean,
something's going on with this machine and it's pissing me off.
well,
But it was fine, honestly. I was surfing the web right before you got here. A half hour before you were on, I was doing some work. I was surfing the web. I was jumping around, both monitors cooking. Oh man, it was high tech up in here.
well,
Then nothing.
well, we're on, so let's talk
We
about
are
stuff.
on.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Let's not bury the lead. This episode is the final episode before we go on an indefinite hiatus. Um, we Yeah, Realities May Vary started as a project when two things happened. One, the former station unceremoniously told us that we were still part of the family and we would be used a lot, and then never called us again. And the second part of it was the pandemic. And so we started this podcast, one, so Cody and I could have some fun. And then Craig joined us for a while. And we were having fun, and we're still having fun. But now the pandemic is over. I have a new show. Cody is busier than, you know, a one-legged man in an ass kicking contest. And we have our other podcast that we're working on. The other podcast, Crafty Brewers, Tales Behind Craft Beer, which is taking up some of my time and a lot of Cody's time, because Cody does not only all the recording and stuff at the scene, but then he has to edit not only audio but video. And so, in order for Cody to keep hanging out with his family and giving him time to focus on our new endeavor, and in order for me to not become just a sleep deprived lunatic more than I already am, we've decided we're not saying we're never going to do this again. We might pop in now and again, but it's just time to focus. We want to focus really on Crafty Brewers because it's really good. And if you haven't watched it yet or haven't listened to it, you really need to do it. The content is great. It looks good. Cody does an excellent job editing both the sound and the video. The brewers are unbelievably friendly. This episode at 1840 Brewing in Milwaukee is, Cody said, it's the funniest episode we've put out. So it's pretty good. Did I miss anything, Cody?
No, I don't think so. I mean, look, when we started this, I didn't have any kids.
Oh my God, is that right? Is that right?
Yeah, because my son was
Holy
born
cow. Oh yeah, the boy is,
fall.
because you, oh my God, yeah, because you went on your first paternity leave, and that's when Craig sat in for you. And Craig was Craig was only gonna be here for a couple weeks. Then Craig stayed until you got back. Holy cow. Wow. Now that you say that, we've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, I wasn't even a dad. So like to Brian, what Brian said, it started as like I have always thought this show was temporary. And that's part of the reason I never like leaned heavily into like I don't know,
Preparing?
promoting it or just like really working, putting a ton into it because I just especially the first year, because it was like, okay, well, we're not on WGN right now. But that had happened before where you're kind of on, you're kind of off, management comes
Mhm.
and goes, revolving door. You never know what's gonna happen. But like the first year safely, I was just kind of like, well, yeah, we'll do this, it'll be 3 months or 6 months or 9 months or 12 months. And then like there'll be more radio and then we'll kind of go away and then
Right.
it didn't, and then, like, a second year went by and it didn't, and then it was kinda, like, a little bit different, but then I started accumulating a lot of things, on top of 'cause
House, couple of babies,
yeah, because
jobs.
before my life was a full-time job and then a weekend radio job. So, like, turning that into a full-time job and a podcast, not really hard. Um, just recently, like, here's currently what my life is. I've been Crafty Brewers actually takes, like, sometimes up to, like, 12 hours of editing, because it's field recorded. We record on location at bars, and I have to do a lot of filtering and mastering and engineering and tweaking to get the audio so it doesn't sound like there's a bunch of stuff happening, right? Um, I did 30 episodes of a podcast for a startup called The Funding Blueprints. 30 episodes. The final one is I'm actually still sending editing notes to the editor about the final episode this week. So I've been working on that for like a year almost. I just picked up a B2B podcast client It's kinda like Crafty Brewers, only they're paying me.
Oh,
So I'll be
wait,
doing
what?
a paid, podcast production on the side. I'm now in the DePage Woodworkers organization,
That's
which you'll
right.
hear about later. So that's like an hour a month, not a lot. Our bathroom, our, we're remodeling our bathroom, because we have to
That's always
remodel.
easy too.
Yeah, we have to remodel our bathroom, so I'm getting quotes
Sure.
from contractors doing that whole project. I have been doing a Ulysses book club. We are now in the last chapter of Ulysses, which is pretty much one of the hardest. Hard. It is a very hard book. Some consider one of the hardest books to kind of get through in the English language. And every 2 weeks, I've read a chapter of that. So that's been like a 9 month project. And I go to the gym 3 days a week, like kind of
Dang.
like religiously. So like, and the thing is, like, I'm also a dad, and I don't let anything take priority over my kids except for the gym. The only time I'll be like, "No, it's dad time," is when I go to exercise because I need to take care of myself.
Sure.
Um,
A little
and my
me time, a little spa day for Cody.
Yeah, so, like, clearly, I am way overcommitted, and so it's like, I can't.
Yeah,
Keep
no, it's and
doing.
we talked about it, and it was a pretty easy decision, because we did this show to stay in touch with the people who listened to us and enjoyed what we did on the old place, and and now we have other ways for you to stay connected to us. Because Cody, not I mean, Cody is the producer of Crafty Brewers, but he's in every episode. You know, and we'll probably still throw up this week a goofy Facebook Live when we're at Beer Under Glass, when we're not working on the podcast stuff. And but yeah, it's one of those things where time yeah, time just is it's time. It's time to take a break and focus on the other stuff. And there's a lot going on, you know. My schedule is wildly different now than it was just a month and a half ago. You know, so 3 hour commute, and then I'm beat. 3 hour
Yeah.
road trip. Dave Plyer's here. Hi, Dave. Dave Plyer jumping in. Um, so that's it. We're still, like I said, we're not going to be gone. You know where to find us. You still stay updated on the Facebook page and everywhere else. You need to subscribe to Crafty Brewers, Tales Behind Craft Beer. And you need to listen to WTMJ, spanning the state every day from 1 to 3. Or you can listen to it on the podcast. You can listen to it. You can stream it. All kinds of ways for us to stay in touch. It's just this one is going on a hiatus for a while.
Yeah, it's good timing too because we are gonna experiment with, moving my daughter's crib into my son's
Oh,
bedroom,
oh, wow.
like, tomorrow, like, the
Oh,
furniture's half moved, so, me being next door to both of my children's bedrooms talking past bedtime doesn't seem optimal, so they'll maybe sleep better. We'll see how that goes.
yeah.
Um, for what it's worth, and I know you'll probably say things to the contrary, and I don't care. I think I am a much stronger on-air producer than co-host. I think my contributions on air to Crafty Brewers are infinitely better than most of my contributions to this show.
You've
Uh,
said that to me before, and
I
I'm not
know
gonna
you
argue
disagree.
with you, but
Maybe some listeners disagree. I think everything I do on Crafty Brewers is gold, and I edit out the stuff that isn't. Uh, and I do
come
not
on.
feel the same way
Pe
about this show.
No, people are gonna miss your crazy
Yeah,
political rants and, all your tales of woodworking.
getting drunk on the show, getting high on the
Yes,
show. Oh,
that's
man.
beautiful.
There's none of that.
That's
There's
what's
none of that anymore. I'm cut. I've
I know.
pretty much given up, the marijuana because it's, your health. I've
Sure.
given up caffeine. I don't drink coffee in the morning.
Ugh.
Not
Why are
really
you
drinking
alive? What are
because
you
I'm on a
doing?
I'm on a crash diet till I go to Vegas for a work trip in a month and a half, so I
Plus,
gotta
you gotta
get
be ripped. You gotta
beach
be
bod,
swole to get to the pool.
beach bod, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So thank you for the people in the comments who were saying it's sad and stuff. Don't be sad it's over. Be happy it happened. If I can quote Winnie the Pooh.
and we still will sell Real Audios May Vary merchandise on the, Crafty Brewers merch page, so
Yes,
if
yeah,
you wanna just support us retroactively, that's fine too.
right.
Buy a shirt.
If you've been listening for 4 years and now you're like, I should probably get a T-shirt so I can remember these guys. That would be lovely.
Yeah.
That would be lovely. All right, enough of that. Enough pish posh. This is not a pity party. We got things to talk about. I want to go all the way back because, as you said, we haven't talked in a while. So I want to hear. I want to hear your stories about the eclipse. I'm ready. Um, your story, your bright story, to hurt my eyes.
I see, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know why these are sitting on my desk still, but they are.
I'm not gonna go into excessive detail because, like, it's like a month past it, but
Sure. People
I did.
remember, don't they?
Yeah, my lovely wife and my children and I drove to Indianapolis with our friend Brad, and, because for the eclipse, you had said when you went in 2017 to Carbondale
Correct.
that it took you, like, 10 hours to drive back.
It did. I'm not exaggerating.
Right,
Normally I
because
do, but this time I am not.
right, and so my thinking was like, "Alright, well, Carbondale is much smaller than Indianapolis. Surely it will still be horrific." However, I go to Gen Con every year, that's 60,000 people. They've got the Colts Stadium there, they've got the Speedway there. Like, Indianapolis somewhat capable of handling a large influx of people.
Well, the city itself, but then there's all the areas around Indianapolis that
Sure,
don't get crowded for a football game.
sure, and it's not like it was gonna be smooth sailing, but
Right.
I thought it might be a little better than Carbondale,
Okay,
and
fair
it
enough.
was. It takes, like, 3.5 hours to get to
Yeah, oh, it's
Indy.
much closer. Yeah, yeah.
Is it closer?
Yeah, it's 300 miles to Carbondale.
Oh, I didn't know
Like
that.
250, 260, 275, maybe.
Okay, so it took us an extra couple hours to get back, like, maybe 6 hours.
Okay.
But, like, fine. There's, like, I don't know, it's some random person on a forum was like, "There'll be, like, 3,000,000 people coming into Indy," and it's like, "Alright, I get it, it's big." It was great, I won't, like
3,000,000, that seems like a lot.
yeah, I won't get super into the details, on the eclipse because if you know what it was like. You
How did the
go
children react? That's the big question.
children reacted great. We found a park with a playground.
Oh.
The here's the point of my story is gonna be that the actual seeing of the eclipse is the only good decision we made in terms of where to go the entire trip. The hotel was fine,
Okay.
and then I'm like, "Oh, let's drive a little bit west of the city, and get a little bit out of the city,
Okay.
and watch it from some park." I just Googled, like, parks, and there was this nice park with a big playground, and we just went to the park, and my kids played on the playground, and they didn't look up, they don't look at the sun normally, why would they look up now?
Just 'cause?
Yeah, we get the glasses on. Eventually, my son wanted to do the glasses thing, and he was really good, and he did we wrapped him around his head, and he'd look up, and he's like, "Oh, let me see again," and he was really good, and then totality happened, and it's just gorgeous, and you're like, "Oh my god, this is magnificent,
Yeah.
majestic," and it was really cool, and then and then we were gonna hop right in the car, only my son got quite sick,
Oh.
and, so there was a lot of diapers changed,
Oh,
um,
no.
but eventually we got in the car and then headed out, um,
Do you
so it
think
was
it
nice.
was the totality that, affected his bowels?
Oh, definitely. Oh, for
Oh,
sure. Yeah,
that's
for sure.
weird.
Well, there
Okay.
was also I drew a pentagram around us when it happened, and I was
Oh,
chanting in tongues.
you
Um,
summon the dark arts as you are wont to
yeah, I
do.
did the grayscale arts, they weren't all
The
dark,
grayscale.
just light gray, somewhere light to
Okay,
moderate gray.
sure.
Yeah,
All right.
but but outside so then and then we left. So, but
Uh,
outside of the hotel, every place we stopped, was a horrific nightmare that made me hate Indiana.
okay, wow.
So
Holy cow. That's a bit because you were only, like, at the top half. You didn't even get to the whole state, but you hold a grudge.
it was rough. The first the gas station we stopped at, only sold, like, knives and guns, like, a lot of knives and
I don't think you
guns.
stopped at a gas station.
And so we got gas there. Well, we put something in my car.
Okay.
I don't know what it was.
A gas station that only has knives and guns.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I don't remember if we stopped on the way there and it was horrible, but we either stopped right on the way there or right on the way out for some kind of food situation, and it was quite bad. It just
Was it
long
Burger King? Wait,
so this was the last stop. So
okay.
yeah, there were like 3 bad stops. Well, whoa, no, no. One was the horrible, like knives only gas station. The
Mike
second
said it
one
might have been a meth station.
could have been a meth station. The
Could have been.
second was the gas station on the way out, which had like a line of 30 people waiting for the bathroom.
Oh
And then after we left it, we turned and like a mile down, there were like 4 gas stations with no lines.
God.
Um, this was a weird one. And as soon as we went to the gas station, it started pouring rain. There was like a Subway inside, but it wasn't a Subway. It was just a really bad place that smelled like bread. So
Oh God.
we didn't eat and it was horrific. Then we get back on the road and then the last place we stopped. And this I like honestly I'm never going to go to a Burger King again.
That's a shame.
We're like we're going cuz we went straight west out of the city and then we took like 57 to go north.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
Okay.
we went straight west cuz I wasn't going to
Oh.
go to the Chicago roads. No, no way. So we went out of the way. But so we're going up and then my friend goes, "Okay, instead of like continuing on, just go straight here to Kankakee. There's a bunch of restaurants." I'm like, "Okay." And then it's like 8, I don't know,
Well,
8 at night. It's
I have to ask. Let me ask you a question. When you came across from Indianapolis to 57, you should have been about at Bloomington, right?
we
Yeah,
didn't go
that
that far. We didn't go that far.
you didn't go that far. No, you didn't go. Well, 57 and 70 or 74.
We cut north before we hit the Illinois state border,
Okay.
and then we cut like across somewhere else to get to
Oh,
57.
well, okay. So you didn't stay interstate the whole way.
No, 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 no,
Because I
no.
was going to say you could have stopped at Wally's.
I thought of that. I thought about that. But no.
Okay.
My friend's like, "Just go straight, there's a bunch of restaurants," and there were not any restaurants open. So, he pulls off, and, like, at this point, we hadn't eaten real food in, like, 3 days.
Oh my god.
So, for, like,
Wow.
2 days. So,
What?
we pull
You were
off.
going to a major metropolitan area.
I mean, you know what I mean. We'd eaten food, but it's like fast food, it's like
Okay,
junk
all
food.
right. I gotcha.
Um, so, like, we pull off the highway and there's an Arby's, and I'm like, "Arby's is fine. We can get, like, a
Ooh.
BLT." My wife is like, "I want somewhere where I can get a vegetable." And I was like, "Alright, that doesn't
You're
sound
on a
realistic."
road trip. That doesn't happen.
Well, let's find let's see what we can do. So we
Get
keep
some
going.
onion straws at Arby's.
So my friend is like, "There's all these places." There were no places. They were all closed. And he's
Oh.
like, "Oh, let's just stop the next place we see," and it's a Burger King. Oh my god, Brian. I don't eat at Burger King, and I'm not going to eat at Burger King. Oh my god. Their whole menu was like fried chicken sandwich, fried burger sandwich, fried sandwich, fried, garbage sandwich. And then,
What?
like, their milkshake machine was down, and the kid was, like, 14 and didn't know what he was doing, and they walk up to the register, and he's just like, "Hi? Like, what are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Can I order food?" He's like, "Okay." And I'm like, "Alright." So I put in my order. There was a
Okay.
there was a couple sitting there when we got there 15 minutes later waiting for their food. So I'm like,
Oh,
"What are they
no.
doing hunting the food?" The lights are horrible. There's one TV blaring like an NCIS anniversary marathon. So people are like getting autopsies and they're like showing dead bodies in the morgue and stuff. And like my kids are running around.
That's cool.
Um, it was horrific.
Where
Like they
where
didn't
in the Children of the Corn were you that this is the Burger King you
I don't
found?
know, somewhere in Kankakee, apparently. I went up to the counter, they didn't give me napkins. I walk up, I had to ask for napkins, like, there was no silverware, half the pop machines were out, like,
Oh
all we were
my
able to get was, like,
god.
fried trash. The food was very bad. I hated the menu. Nothing about it was
Burger King
good.
is flame broiled for their
Well,
burgers.
Burger King is that was the worst fast food experience I think I've ever had.
I don't
So,
think that was a real Burger King.
I'm done with that place.
I love Burger King.
Man, there's so many near me. It's like the number 1 per capita fast food around this area, the western suburbs is Burger King.
If you gave me a choice between McDonald's and Burger King, I pick Burger King every time.
I would never do that.
Oh god, the Whopper is such a great sandwich.
No, I have the McDonald's app on my phone. I get their breakfast as often as
Well,
I
sure, you
can.
get their breakfast at Christmas. We know you.
It's
All
true.
right, let me ask you this, and then we'll finish up your Burger King story since you brought up the McDonald's app. I have it now. I don't know how to use it. It seems like much more of a like I pull into the drive once a week. I treat myself to breakfast as I'm driving up to Milwaukee, and I love a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit.
Yeah.
Every time I pull in, they're like, "Are you going to use your app?" And I'm like, "Because there's big signs. If you're going to use your app, have it out, have it ready, have it." And I'm like, "I what? No, what's going on?" So I know I sound like a really old man, which I probably am. Um, and I use apps, I use technology, today notwithstanding. Um, I tried to use it. Um, but let's shout out, I figured a workaround, so we're on.
You did.
But so have you ever used it like at the drive-through?
Here's what you do. You just drive to McDonald's, pull into a parking spot, pull out the app, put in your order. It automatically will geolocate. It knows exactly where you are. It's like,
That's
"Oh, you're
scary.
ordering at this store." You tap on deals,
Yeah,
and it has all these deals. And for breakfast, there's always every day, buy one breakfast sandwich, get one free.
I love that.
You sit there, you tap on that deal, you tap the 2 sandwiches you want, you tap whatever coffee and fixins you want, and then you just tap complete my order. Your credit card gets charged and it gives you a 4-digit code. Then you pull out, you pull into the drive-through, you go, "Oh, hey, I'm KQX5." They're like, "Oh, Brian? Yes? Great, pull to the first window." You pull up, they give you a receipt, pull up to the second window, your food's ready.
Are you kidding? It's that easy?
It's an extra, like, couple minutes maybe if
Okay.
you're sitting there on the in the first few times to do it, it takes some getting used to. I mean, you can do it before you leave your house, but I'm usually in a hurry, so I don't.
Yeah, and I never know what McDonald's I'm gonna stop at. Sometimes it's, Kenosha, sometimes it's, closer to Milwaukee, sometimes it's
Mhm.
right in between in Racine, I don't know, I'm a man of many McDonald's.
Yeah, just pull in, park for like a minute, minute and a half,
Alright.
do the app, beep, beep, boop, and, you save yourself like 4 or $5. You can get a free, I think, small or medium fry with like any order or something.
With any order.
Yeah, they have deals that say like 10 or 15% off your order or whatever, but don't do those because you end up
Okay.
saving way more if you just get a free thing.
Yeah, I
I
want
have
free things.
I have like 8,000 points that are gonna expire. I could get like a free Big Mac. You can't combine offers, so
Okay,
you gotta pick the one offer that you'll get the most bang for.
that's fine.
Get the breakfast sandwich. You'll always save like 3, $4. I think I
Alright.
paid $5 for 2 breakfast sandwiches, and it was the
Is
best
that
thing
right?
ever.
Alright, I'm gonna try it Friday. Friday's my usual treat myself to breakfast day.
It's a great app.
If I'm not getting a, breakfast burrito with the Quick Trip. Which Quick Trip is the truth, man. They got some good stuff. Plus, I'm buying so much gas, I'm earning all kind of gas discounts. Like every week, all of a sudden they'll go, "You want 5 cents off your gas? You want 10 cents off a gallon?" Hell yes, I do.
Do you use
Click.
Upside?
What's that?
Did you get Upside?
What is Upside?
Upside's the free app that gives you free cash back on your groceries and gas.
No, this is just a Quick Trip rewards card.
Man, dude,
I'm old school. I got to slide in my rewards card, or I punch in my phone number if I'm buying myself a couple of Dunkers to go with my coffee.
Upside,
It's fantastic.
advertises
Wisconsin rules.
dude, Upside advertises aggressively on the radio. You pull up the Upside app and it shows you gas station around you and how many cents back per gallon they'll give you if you fill up there.
Really?
It's like 5, 6 cents or whatever. And you're just like,
All
you
right.
tap it, you go to the thing, and it's like pay with the card on file. And then it's like, oh, have you paid yet? And you tap yes. And it's like, great, we'll give you a deposit in your Upside account in like 2 or 3 days. And then a couple days later, it's like, congratulations, you got like $1.50 in your app or whatever, like $2 or whatever. Um, but when you first sign up for it, it gives you an extra 20 cents off, 20 cents back per gallon.
Really?
So tanks, after I filled up 2 tanks with my hybrid once and then my Subaru Outback the other time, I got $20 in my balance. And it's just like $20, like in my Upside balance, I can just like deposit to my checking account.
Really?
$20 back. Yes. So after the intro, then it's only like 4 or 5 cents off per like place. So it's
Okay.
like you're probably fine if you're just using the Speedway. But I have a referral
No,
code.
not Speedway. Quick Trip. Big
Quick Trip.
difference.
Sorry. I'll send you my referral code if you want to look it up.
All right.
But I don't know if I'll keep using it because it is, like, diminishing returns, but those first couple tanks, it's like, okay, I'll take that.
Man. All right. Back to your hatred of Burger King.
Yeah,
So what ended up happening? Did you ever get well, first of all, did your wife get vegetables at Burger King?
absolutely not.
Of course not.
No.
On a road trip, there's a certain road trip mentality where you have to realize, yes, we're probably going to eat garbage. And then we'll get home and we'll go back to eating regular dinners and, having vegetables and all the colors on your plate, all that kind of healthy stuff. But on a road
Well,
trip, whatever.
Well, we were trying to be mindful of the kids, but I mean, we don't go on a lot of, like, m more than one-day trips with kids, so,
Right.
like, we didn't realize how we needed to pack snacks and pack sandwiches and pack carrots and stuff, and be healthy, but
You didn't do it?
because I don't wanna feed them junk for 3. That was the issue, I'll eat a burger for 3 days, I don't care, but,
Yeah.
you don't wanna give your kid, like, a chicken sandwich for 3 days? It's like, how many chicken nuggets can you put down the kid's gullet?
I'm gonna go with a shitload.
Our last episode, folks?
Yeah, I'm gonna get us an E for the
Yeah.
final episode. No, kids, you go to don't the Happy Meals have, like, apple slices and
Yeah,
low-fat milk
yeah,
and
the
stuff in it?
Happy Meals do, but Burger King doesn't have any of that.
They don't have a kids meal?
Hell no. They didn't have anything. It was
I
awful.
think you I think you went to a Burger King where the franchisee was going out of business, and they were like, "Screw it. We have our contract is up in 3 weeks. We're not refilling the pop machines. We're not hiring anybody who knows anything. We're just gonna deep fry everything because the flame broiler broke down 6 months ago, so we can't really broil our hamburgers, and, that's the way it's gonna go." 'Cause, they're running unsolicited plug for Burger King. They got 2 Whopper Juniors now for $5. You can go through and you can get all kinds of Whopper Juniors, regular Whopper Juniors, a bacon Swiss cheese Whopper Junior, bacon and cheese Whopper Junior, all kind, 2 for $5. Perfect. Bang, you're out.
If I want a burger and I need to drive through a place, I'm not gonna rule them out, but I'm never gonna go in one, and I'm never taking my kids to one.
Oh, all right. Well, bring them over. I'll babysit. I'll babysit for them. We'll go to, and when you come back and they're both sitting on my couch with those paper crowns, you go, "Oh, you son of a what the?" And your son's gonna go, "I want a Whopper, Daddy. I want to have it my way." And I'll go, "That's right, little man. You got to have it your way."
Eggs and Whoppers.
Whopper with eggs. Whopper with eggs. Whopper with eggs. Eggs and Whoppers.
I don't know.
That would be fun. That would be fun. Eggs and Whoppers.
Well, that was my trip. You should talk about your big event.
Well, I hosted again. The For the 8th time, I hosted the Irish American Hall of Fame Awards on Saturday, the big induction gala. Because I'm on the board. I'm a very, very important human being. That's another thing that keeps me busy. But so it was. You've been to it before, and we had the last week. There's always people who buy a table and then can't fill it, and so like 2 days before, I contacted you. Then the day of, they call me and they go, "We have some tickets, some seats." And I offered a couple to Dave Plyer, but he was, he's a busy guy. It was
He's a
his
busy
daughter's
guy.
prom that night, and so he had plans, and you had plans, so you guys couldn't come. But it went well. I was very loose this time. Got a couple really huge, like huge laughs. Because I we changed up the script a little, and I was just loose and I kept my comments short. But at the beginning, I was talking about pride and how much pride I feel being there, and pride in this, and pride in this, and pride in that. And then I said, and pride in the fact that so far we've never had a big drunken brawl at one of these events. And there was a table full of nuns. And I was like, I hope I didn't jinx myself. And I'm looking at you, sisters, slow your roll. And the nuns started laughing. Everybody's laughing. Um, and then we inducted John McEnroe, who was not there and wouldn't send us an acceptance video. So in his tribute video, they have him screaming at the ump during some matches when he was young. And so I let out a big John McEnroe scream when I announced that he was not there. And that threw the place into hysterics. So it's funny because, like, to me, I was like, I did okay. It's not about me. It's about the doing the show and keeping it running. And we were done early, which was good. So everything was fine. But you would have thought I had just, I don't know, directed or starred in the Best Picture Oscar. Because people are like, oh, and I appreciate it. People are like, oh my God, it was about, you were so good. Oh, the nuns were coming up to me. Oh, you changed, you made our night. And it was very nice. But I'm like, okay, you know me. I'm not like, yep, I'm the greatest. But at one point, I was referred to as the most important man in the room because every year one of the board members each take charge of one inductee to kind of shepherd them through the process. And this year, I had Dr. Joseph Kerwin as my inductee. Now, I didn't know anything about Dr. Joseph Kerwin before we started this. He was the first medical doctor in space. He was
Oh.
on Skylab. He did 2 spacewalks, and then he spent the rest of his life working with NASA. Pretty impressive story. He's like 92 now. He lives in Texas, and I had to search, try to find him, and then I had to try to find somebody to connect with him, and it worked out. And so I talked to him. I'm sorry, I'm rubbing my eye. We have the windows open today, and so I think allergy time has come
Mm.
because I cannot stop rubbing my eye. But anyway, so we found his daughter ended up coming. I talked to him on the phone a few times. Guy was still sharp as a tack at like 92 and just great. So his daughter comes to accept his award. And he had sent a video thanking us for inducting him that we put on the end of his tribute video. And in that video, he was wearing a green tie with like gold harps and Knights of Columbus seals on it. And his daughter comes in and says, we're talking, and she goes, "Hey, my dad said that there was a tradition at NASA that whenever they went over to Russia, they would exchange ties with the most important person in the meeting." She said, you don't have to give me your tie, but he wants me to give you this tie.
No.
And I'm like, okay, no, that's great. Thank you. She said, "Can I give it to you on stage when I'm making my remarks?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." So then she goes and she's looking around, and I'm talking to Debbie, and I tell her what's happening. And I go, "I got to give him this bow tie, right?" And she's like, "Yes, you have to give him the bow tie." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm just checking." So, but then Debbie goes, "But tell her you can't do it till the end of the night because you got to be in pictures and stuff." I'm like, "Okay."
Smart.
So she comes up and she doesn't make too many. She just says a few things about her dad, but she said he's been texting me and telling me to keep him apprised of what's going on. So she asked the crowd to raise a drink, and she takes a picture and texts it to her dad. And then she tells the story that this is an astronaut tradition, and you exchange it with the most important person in the room, the person responsible for you being there. And she said, "That's you, Brian. So my dad wants you to have this tie." And there were people like, you could tell it was people were getting emotional. It was like, oh my God. So I had told her before she came up, I said, "Just so you know, at the end of the night, you're taking this tie to your dad." So we have pictures of us exchanging our ties at the end of the night. And I was giving him, I'm going to give him a couple days because his daughter was just flying home yesterday. And then I want to give him a call and just tell him thanks. And, but it was pretty cool. So now 2 years in a row, I've gotten something very personal from the inductee that I brought in, because last year I had Joanne Hayes White, who was the first fire chief in San Francisco, and she gave me the battle coin. I know I told the story. You're supposed to have it. So even though I knew she wasn't coming this weekend, I still had the battle coin in my pocket. So I had that, and now I got this tie. This unbelievable. It's crazy. I have one of the Skylab patches that he gave me. So I may put them in something to commemorate it. It was pretty cool because
That's awesome.
I have some pictures of him, and I have the picture of us with the tie. So, but it was really a neat thing. It
I
was a
love that. I'm
little
sorry
emotional.
I could not go. Was really sorry I missed it. And also
He,
sorry I didn't text you back faster.
that's all right.
I swear I got out my phone to text you, and my son probably distracted me, and it
Yeah, he's
came up.
always doing something. That kid's crazy.
That's true.
Uh, but here's a weird thing. So usually I have one Guinness early before the thing starts as I'm prepping. Then Debbie always brings me up a Guinness for the end of the night when they sing the parting glass. Those 2 Guinness tasted great. Then I go downstairs to the bar. Ugh. I was drinking my first Guinness. I'm like, this tastes like sewer water.
Oh, no.
I know. So, and then a group of people from Debbie's firm, the firm bought a table, and they were there. And one of the women Debbie works with just comes over to me with a shot. And she's like, here. And I'm like, what is it? And she said something, but it was really loud. So I don't know what it was, but I drank it. And I know it wasn't Malort. So it was some sort of whiskey. But then the beers tasted even worse. I'm like,
Oh,
oh, I only ended up having 2 beers. I'm like, oh, this is awful. I've been sweating like a rented mule for the last 4 hours. And now I can't even have a couple of beers.
all those highfalutin craft brews you're having.
No, because the first two Guinness, yeah, I am having a lot of highfalutins, I guess, but not too much. Not enough where don't want a Guinness. The first two upstairs tasted great. I have a feeling maybe the lines or something downstairs were a little dirty.
Yeah, it could be.
It tasted nasty.
Yikes.
Nasty. That was nasty. Nasty. So that was it. That was the big that was a big event. It was touching. It was God, because I was so relaxed, I'd just throw off asides here and there. And I was throwing them off like nobody's business.
Oh, I bet.
People were enjoying themselves. And the more people laughed at it, then the more I was like, I could keep doing this all night.
Of
I'm like
course,
Captain
yeah.
America. I could keep doing this all night. So it was, we had a good time. And I looked, Debbie looked lovely. Because we had 2 days before that was our 32nd anniversary. And we did not, this was how we celebrated the anniversary. It was Thursday. She worked, I worked. I came home. I had to be at rehearsal for the gala. I was home for about 20 minutes. That morning, we said happy anniversary to each other. She said it. I walked downstairs. She goes, happy anniversary. I'm like, oh, yeah, happy anniversary. And then we said happy anniversary again when I got home before I left for rehearsal. Then she was asleep by the time I got back. So, yeah, that was our big 32nd anniversary celebration.
Very nice.
Yeah. But then Saturday, we were all gussied up and went out. And
Sure.
last night I made her steak. Come on.
Dressed to the nines. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, it was
On
good.
a successful event. You're just crushing it this week.
Oh, I love my gala hosting season now is over for a while. But I did get asked if I would be interested in hosting something for the British, some sort of British organization in December.
I don't think you're allowed to do that.
That's what I said. But it was one of the people from Debbie's work again. She was like, "Oh no, I'm Irish too." But they took me, and I said, "Oh, I think I know somebody who would host this, but he's Irish." And they're like, "Oh no, that would be okay." I'm like, I still hold a grudge.
Yeah.
My great uncle, you put him in jail. You've made my grandfather flee his homeland and never return. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, my dad has played the Scottish Highland bagpipes for years. He wouldn't
You
be
would
caught
not do it.
dead hosting a British
All right.
event.
I may have. What if I go in there and sabotage it though? What if in the middle I just let out some rebel yell and this one is for Morris and Dennis Noonan, you bastards.
That sounded a little more Scottish than Irish, but sure.
All right. Well, that was my angry Irish,
Okay.
verging on Scottish.
Sure.
That's when I go north, and I'm yelling across at the Giants up on Giants Causeway. I'm just screaming at them.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that was that. Mike says maybe they charged the keg with CO2 instead of nitrogen. Maybe. It was bad. It had a real, it had like a seltzery taste to it. So maybe Mike's right. It was bad. Oh, I've never had a Guinness like that. Broke my heart. I was looking forward to downing about 187 Guinness because I sweat so much during the gala. I could have drank all night, and I didn't pee from 7:00 until I got home at 1:30.
I mean, yeah, that's rough. And the lines I get after you and I did Flipside Brewing recorded there at Tinley Park for Crafty
Yes.
Brewers, I stopped at a Taco Bell and the Mountain Dew was flat.
Oh, that had to break your heart.
It killed me. I actually drove back and I was like, sorry guys, you got it. So they filled me up with a Baja Blast because I was like, maybe the Mountain Dew's flat. Flat Baja Blast tastes better than regular flat Mountain Dew. But.
Yeah. Well, we've got some people commenting. Zach, I appreciate it. Zach said he'd give us each $100. We're going to do them every once in a while when we're not gone forever. And again, you can listen to me every day. You can hear Cody Cody is a big part of the Crafty Brewers podcast. So we're still working together. It's not like all of a sudden we've had there's not going to be a behind the music episode of Realities May Vary. It's
Yeah.
not like we're breaking up.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, Brian
just,
and I literally still see each other constantly,
yes.
like,
Yeah.
at least a few times a month for Crafty Brewers or just hanging out or
Yeah.
at a beer event or him watching my
Bringing
kids
the
or
chillins over.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
we're at some point, we'll have a slow week, and we'll just be like, "Ah, you wanna do a thing on a Monday?" And it'll be like, "Fine," you know?
Yeah.
Are you ever gonna have, like, nights off from radio for sports stuff?
I have days off. I don't have to do radio at night anymore.
Oh, that's true, but you'll
We
have
we
days
have day
off
games. Yeah,
from
like this. Well, it's weird because yeah, like this week we've got a Brewers game on Wednesday and Friday. But unlike in the old days where they were taking advantage of me and not paying me if this place I go in and I work, on stuff for future shows and I have meetings with different people and I do all kinds of things. So I have to go in on the days that we have a game, even though we don't have a show.
Oh, okay.
But like Friday, here's my worry about Friday. Friday, we're going to Beer Under Glass, and just like we have for many many years,
You and
that
me, we.
you and yes, you and I see Cody and I are still going to see each other. Um, and Debbie's coming. I told her, Debbie, I said you're going to have to take some pictures. She, I love Debbie. She has a lot of skills. Photography is not one of them. The other night, she tried taking some pictures of myself and Joanna Kerwin switching the ties. She showed me out of like 8 pictures, only 2 of them were usable. I don't know what she did. All of a sudden, like one was perfect. The next one, some crazy light. The whole thing was bright. Then they were blurry. Then so she's gonna be helping us out. But back to the point of that story is the Brewers are playing the Cubs on Friday. Now, if the Brewers were playing somewhere with an enclosed stadium, I would have no worries. However,
Oh.
yes, the Brewers are playing at Wrigley, and if it rains, they're gonna like if it doesn't rain and there's no chance that the game's gonna be postponed or anything, I'm leaving work very early so I can be home to get loopy. Even though it's funny now that we're working at these beer events doing the podcast stuff, we don't get nearly as hammered as we used to.
Well, not till the end anyway.
Yeah,
The rain isn't in the forecast for Friday.
I know. So far, it was not much, or it went down. Yesterday was a 60%. When I checked it this afternoon, it was 40%.
Okay.
So it's only Monday. I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to panic. I'm going to, we're going to roll with it.
Well, I'll be there
But
drinking anyway. I took the day off work a month in advance, not realizing that it's like a 4:30 event.
yeah,
Like, did I really need a full day off for that? Could
yes,
I have maybe left like a half hour early on a Friday when everyone else is leaving early?
no, because I think this way you'll have some extra time to spend with your children, which so you will be guilt
They'll be in
free.
daycare.
Well, you'll have extra
They're in
time to
daycare
just
all day Friday. It's literally me working at home by myself.
well, you can nap or you can go to the gym or you can do some woodwork or
Probably go to the gym. Actually,
late.
I am doing I am doing the entire other side of the table. I'm sanding down the whole other side and putting the first coat of finish on it.
Ooh, see, so you'll have time on Monday.
Big deal.
Barbara says she liked my night show better. Um, Thank you, Barbara. I appreciate that. I hope you'll listen to the new one. It is a little different. Well, it's not just me being, it's not just me being goofy at night. I have to, it's a little bit different. But Cody, you will appreciate this. I am trying to bring more of the nighttime sensibility to this show because that's kind of why they brought me in. So last week was our first Friday Fun game show.
Nice.
So I gave them the open that you and I used, and I was like, well, you don't have to use it. And of course, they were like, well, that's from a different show. But she used your open as a template and then found her
Okay.
own little drops and her own music and stuff. We're still using Saber Dance as the during the game. So and then so last week we tried it out and she had done the open and a close. It was great and had so much fun. It was like back in the old days. I was having a ball. even my co-host went, I listened back to it. You sounded really happy. I go, yeah, it was because it's fun. And it's the last thing we'll do on Friday afternoons. So it's the perfect time for it. And the first two, it was just like being back in the overnight arcade. One of the guys could not answer a question to save his life and lost like 5-2. Um, and the first week we didn't have any prizes. We're gonna have prizes going forward.
Nice.
But so I was like, oh, look at that. We're still keeping some of the old things, giving them new life. And we used to up until the new show, I was using the old at the breweries open for the nighttime show. I tried to use around town, but I was like, oh, that was too much. Do you remember your around town open?
Yes, it was amazing.
It was wild. Well, it's funny. Every time I played those, people are like, who did your production? I said, oh, that was Cody, but he was my producer. He produces now. Oh, man, that's really good. I'm like, well, thank you. I'll tell him. So
Thank
there, people love your production work.
I used to do some good bits.
You did good bits.
If you're ever in dire need of a new good bit, just hit me up. Maybe I like to get creative sometimes.
Well, it's funny because I started another segment on the show that we do, and our producer's doing a good job because I have the stuff that you did and the stuff that one of my nighttime producers did in my head and how I like it, and I'm trying to massage, and she's doing a good job, so I'm happy about that.
Nice.
But Barbara said, "What's with Molly and Walter?" What is with Molly and Walter? Well, Molly and Walter are doing very well. Molly is moving to Pittsburgh in August with the boyfriend.
You have not talked about that on this show.
Well, they are moving. We're meeting the parents next week. It's going to be a melding of families because Molly's boyfriend has a big brain on him, and he is getting his PhD at Northwestern. And so they're coming in to watch him defend his thesis.
Wow.
And I don't know if you do that with blades or nunchucks, or I don't know how you defend your thesis. If you set it in the corner and all the other professors run at it with flames and you have to fight them off. That's why I probably never went for a PhD, because I just don't get the concept.
There's usually a trebuchet involved.
What is that?
It's a trebuchet. It's like a catapult, but it's totally different than a catapult. But it throws things. But it's called a trebuchet.
Trebuchet.
There's a counterweight involved. It flips. It's really cool. It's called a trebuchet.
I like that you've used that word now like 17 times.
Trebuchet. You could probably see some on Mythbusters. I don't know. Probably done some.
No, I've never seen them on Mythbusters. I've never seen Mythbusters.
Wait, hang on.
What's the myth of a trebuchet?
We got, I don't know. There's probably myths involving them, but they like to build things that are destructive, and trebuchets are destructive.
All right. I like that.
Mythbusters, back when Discovery Plus was a thing, literally the only quality, good show. The only good thing on Discovery Plus. The only good thing. Everything else was trash. There were 15 different versions of 90 Day Fiance. There's Naked and Afraid. Literally it's all trash. All of it. I spent an hour and a half browsing with my wife. The only good thing on Discovery Plus was Mythbusters.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sad.
Now it's all Max. It's all Max.
I have Max. But I have HBO, so I only watch HBO. I don't go on Max.
Max is great. Max does have great stuff on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But now that has garbage on it because it also has all of Discoveries.
I love that you are not bitter.
I'm not bitter. It's just I got it free when I worked there, and my wife and I spent an hour and a half one night just browsing, and we watched a few trailers, and we're like, "This is the worst thing ever." And if you ever started to watch something and hit back, it just brought you to the home screen, so you had to refind whatever you were doing.
No.
It was the user experience was bad, the design was bad.
Awful.
It was all bad, and I'm allowed to say that because non-disparagements are illegal now. So. Okay.
I thought that was non-competes.
Non-disparagements were made illegal a year ago.
Oh, good.
And now non-competes are illegal. Which do you have any idea how that affects exclusivity for talent? 'Cause the for
Huh.
those listening,
Yeah.
talent, if you do, like, a commercial for Budweiser, you'll sign an exclusivity clause that says, like, you can't do a different beer commercial for, like, 2 years or whatever,
Mhm.
because they want you tied to, like, the Budweiser brand. They don't want
Right.
they don't want the progressive lady to jump over and do an Allstate commercial, right? Because that's, like, stealing
The
the
difference
clout.
is, though, with commercials, you keep getting paid.
That's what I kinda
You like,
thought.
with commercials, they do that, but agents do that too. Like, I'm exclusive with my agent.
Right.
But yeah, commercials, they they give you a window and they go, "We're gonna run it this long. You can't do another beer commercial for this long," but they're paying you throughout that time. So it's like, okay,
Okay.
I won't audition for Olympia beer because Blatz is paying me big dollars.
That makes sense.
2 beers that don't exist anymore. That's why I'm doing their commercials, because they don't exist anymore.
Very nice.
Um, yeah. So, yeah. All right. I have to ask your advice on this.
What is it? Are you changing your
Um,
look?
yes.
Nice transition, Brian.
Thank you, Cody. I'm considering shaving my head.
Do it.
Well, that's what Debbie said.
I've been
Because
considering shaving my head for literally years.
my hair, I had a bad hair night at the gala the other night. And I've been trying to go between pomade and gel to see which works better. And my hairline, you can see my hairline is going way back to like here. And this is starting to get like, if you see me on stage from the side, it's one of those where, yeah, there's hairs there, but you can see through it. And I'm like, I've always wanted to do it just to see how it looked.
Yes, dude, same. I have
Yeah.
always wanted to try it. My wife would kill me.
See, 2 of my brothers shave their heads. The other 2 have really, I don't know how they got really nice hairlines. They got my maternal grandfather's hairline, and I got the Noonan hairline. So, thanks a lot for that. But, that's fine, whatever. Um, but I would and I said it to Debbie the other night because you could really tell up front that things are going south, and but that's fine. I've never been that vain about my hair. I had the crew cut for 30 years, so it's not, not like I'm like, oh, I've got to go with the newest trend in hairstyles. Um, I told Debbie the other night that I was thinking about it at the gala. Now, I don't know if it's because she had been drinking wine all night or what. She was like, "No, you should do it. You'd look good. You have a nice head." And I was like, "Okay." And judging by my brothers all have nice heads. The 2 that shave their heads. The youngest one, Patrick, is the one who looks most like me. So I was looking at pictures of him today, and I'm like, "Yeah, he pulls it off." But then he does the bald guy then grew a beard thing. I don't think I'll do the bald guy and then grow a beard. I think I'll just be like one big bowling ball head.
Yeah, you might have to change your glasses frames, like, if the shape is kinda off, but
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Go with big
may
hairy
you
curlers,
you might
big giant
not.
goggles.
No, you might not, but you might, like, it might just change the shape and it
It's gonna change
like
the whole look of my visage.
mhm.
But then I thought to myself, don't do this experiment before Mother's Day because that's when we're meeting the boyfriend's family. And
Fair.
that's all I need is for Molly to like have a complete meltdown because I walk in with a shaved head. And then I would put on temporary Bam Bam Bigelow tattoos on my head. So there's a pull for you, Cody.
Why
There's a
temporary?
wrestling reference.
Why temporary?
Well, because I don't have time to get my whole head done in flames in 2 weeks.
That's fair.
I've work in a beer fest,
That's fair.
so I don't have time. But I may go with a Celtic cross on the whole back of my skull.
Yeah, sure, that wouldn't be painful at all.
Wouldn't be painful at all. Wouldn't affect my job prospect or anything. Just be like, it would be the ultimate late midlife crisis. What happened to Brian? I don't know. One day he woke up, he shaved his head, he got a giant Celtic cross tattooed on the back of his head. Oh, yeah, that's about on brand.
Yeah.
Bad decisions. Yeah.
I think I say I cannot wait. We'll do a surprise episode in a few months,
Yes.
and we'll show up bald, and now people will know it's not because 'cause you're, like, doing chemo or something.
No,
It's just
no, I'm making you know what else? I like wearing hats.
do
Not
you?
just baseball. Yeah, I love I did it years ago when the fedora craze was going on. I liked wearing hats. I like wearing my Peaky Blinders cap that I got in Ireland. I like wearing hats. I think I look pretty good in a hat.
So your hair currently does not preclude you from doing that.
Yeah, but then you have to take the hat off. See, there's the thing. Like I would wear my Peaky Blinder cap to school with my hair, but then I take it off and I got hat hair. And it's
Okay.
like, eh. Plus, I I want to be one of those guys who just walks around with a hand towel and just is constantly wiping my head of the sweat. I want to be like Pavarotti in the hood. That's what that's my goal. Every on crafty, maybe I get a Crafty Brewer logo right up there or a temporary one. But just have a big crafty. Then I'm going to start. I'm going to have add Crafty Brewer head towels to the merch. You can take it either way. Use it for whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? It's a double entendre.
Is it?
It's pretty on the nose, but if you don't get it, yeah, figure it out.
Okay.
All right.
I'll Google it.
Google it. Look it up. Crafty Brewer's head towels. Good for your noggin or your belly.
I have nothing to add to that.
I hope not. I think it speaks for itself, to be quite honest. So yeah, so you say do it.
Do it.
All
I'm
right.
jealous, frankly. I'd
Yeah,
like to do
I
it.
mean, see, that's the thing. At this point in our lives, Debbie doesn't care what I
Actually,
do with my
yeah.
head.
Yeah, of course. No,
It's like,
do it. Yeah, no. Yeah, your daughter will freak out, but maybe this will be in Pittsburgh by then. Who knows?
well, if she hates it, now there's no wedding plans or anything in the offing that I know of. But if she hates it to the point where she'd say, I was gonna have you come to my wedding, and now then I go, all right, well, I guess I could grow. It'll grow back,
It'll grow
I'm
back.
sure.
It's just hair. Yeah, I get mine
Yeah.
cut short by accident I used to fairly regularly get it cut by too short by accident. Yeah. No, you're good. I'm kind of frankly a little bit jealous. I like to I haven't changed my look in a long time, and I probably won't. But
It's working for you though. Didn't
I
get you
guess
on that beautiful people's website, but other than that, it's worked really well for you.
thank you. I'm very excited actually about wrapping up this the startup podcast that I was working on. I got
Yeah.
to record like 2 little clips for them, and then I'm swapping out my mic.
Ooh, to what kind of mic?
I've got a RE20, which is the kind they use at most radio stations. I used to use the RE20 for years. This is a Shure SM7B, which is what's like all the Joe Rogan has. Most
Wow.
podcasters have it. Um, the SM7B, I actually had Curiosity order when I did their podcast because I was like, why did I have the RE? No. I had the RE20 from. I had Curiosity order it, and Ashley and I both used RE20s, and then when Discovery acquired us, I asked them for the SM7B because I wanted to see what the difference was,
Aha.
and I ended up keeping both
Sure, why
because
not?
of the way that things ended. They hadn't, asset tagged any of the podcast equipment, and they didn't need it in Chicago. So, like, literally, the guy at the facilities was like, "I mean, it's not even in our system, and, like, it's just a problem for me if we keep it, and we're not gonna use it, so
It's
just
just
take
a
it."
problem for me.
So, yeah,
So you
no,
were helping people out. You were helping people.
I have, like, a lot of money worth of equipment from past jobs that
Yeah.
just didn't need it any longer, or ask for it back, so,
Well, I'm speaking into one of those things.
you are? So yeah, anyway, but the RE20, yeah, I think it's gonna give me like a brighter sound that I think I'm gonna want.
Yeah.
But I can't change the look till I'm done with that other podcast. So once I wrap those. So next time you see me, I'll hopefully have an RE20 if I don't decide I'm just lazy and I don't feel like swapping them out.
That's
Because
gonna
there
be
is a
fantastic.
slightly different configuration. I gotta get like
All
a
right.
thing, but I like them a lot.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll come back after I shave my head
Sure.
and talk. And again, I'm reading some of these the comments in the comment section, and Zach and Gina and Sandy and everybody. Thank you. It's not for any reason other than scheduling and changes in family life and work life for Cody and myself, and looking to we've been the Crafty Brewers is starting to pick up some steam,
Mhm.
and Cody works really hard on it. And the extra time that this will give him helps. And it's just everybody's got everybody. It's
Yeah,
not just the two of us. Everybody's got a lot going on.
I'm impressed that I've been able to keep this up, while
Yeah,
adding 2 kids, 2 other podcasts, semi-professional podcasts, home projects, home improvement projects, everything, all of it.
yeah. It's
Uh,
been crazy because I mean my life hasn't changed nearly that much, but there've been, thinking back, there's been a lot of stories for both of us, and you have gone through a lot of changes. And yeah, it's not this started for a reason, and now it's going on hiatus for a reason.
yeah.
And
Uh, there's one thing we didn't get to today.
what's that?
Was my volunteering. I
Oh,
volunteered.
what'd you volunteer for?
The DePage Woodworkers, which I'm now a member of,
Oh,
builds
did you get a laminated card?
it's not laminated.
Is it a wooden plaque?
It's just a card
Oh,
of
okay.
paper.
Oh, which is made from wood.
Ha! Ah, it all comes together.
It
No,
all ties it
they
in a bow.
they build wooden toys for children to donate at Christmas time,
Oh,
and last year they donated, like, 10,000 toys
good
to
lord.
they're shaped like little hippos or turtles, and they got little wheels on them, and you can, like there's a little wheel car, like animal
Oh,
cars,
yeah.
but they're, like, solid wood, they're, like, an inch thick, they're really nice, and, they did a little workshop on Saturday, so I went in, there was a we met up at, some woodworking shop, I don't remember the name of it.
Burger King? Oh.
Woodcraft in, Downers Grove, and there were, like, a bunch of routers set up outside, and I used a router for the first
Oh,
time, and
wow.
some of the guys showed me how to use it, and I routed some shapes, and inside they were doing assembly and putting wood glue in it and getting the axles on, and, it was great, and, the only reason I bring it up is just I'm starting to get into this woodworking crowd. I've mentioned several times on the show, I don't
Yeah.
know anybody in the area. I'm starting to meet people. It's very outgoing. It's just been great. It feels nice to
That's
volunteer.
that's cool. And so did you do all different aspects of it, or were you cutting the shapes, or were you putting on the wheels, or
No cutting. I did some assembly and then the routers basically round the edges off.
yeah.
So I was rounding the edges off of the animals
Nice.
and I rounded some edges off of some like tracks that they were building for something. So yeah, it was I'm getting more hands on.
That's very cool.
It's important to me. See, my dad played the bagpipes and founded a bagpipe band, and my mom volunteered everywhere and made has for still does today, makes like packages for people in need and like gift bags at like Thanksgiving time and stuff like that. Like they're like crafty and do things with their
Yeah, yeah.
hands and creative and like I think I have this like fear that I won't have that, and like, you have the radio. You could, like, bring your daughter into a radio station with
Sure.
all the lights and the board, and, like, like, I work from home next door to my son's office, and I talk to myself in a closet, which I'm doing now, and I don't want my son to just think I'm some, like, lazy lunatic that just sits on a computer all day and doesn't do anything. So that's why I'm inspired to, like, go to the
That's
gym and do
nice.
woodworking and, like, I try to involve him in me building the table, my desk outside, and he's very aware that I'm building a table desk. So this is I don't know. It's super important to me that he sees me like do something physical in the real world and not just like everything virtual. Cause I feel
Yeah.
like everybody can just do everything virtual all the time. And then you get these kids on TikTok all day and it's just like you don't have skills. And I don't know.
Right. Right. And
I don't know.
you wanna be famous just because 'cause you're on TikTok, but you can't really do anything.
Right. Is that crazy? Does that make sense?
No,
That I
yeah, you
have
wanna, yes, I get it. Even though sitting in your closet talking is what bought your house and pays your bills and clothes your kids and feeds them. But yeah, it's nice to have some. Now, this is coming from a guy who has no outdoor hobbies or outside hobbies, but I think it's important.
But
to be
you
able to do. But I do, I like do the Hall of Fame, and I do stand up, and I do this, and I do that, and
yes.
there's stuff outside the house.
Well, you get in front of people and the technology you use. Like I said, like going
Hmm.
into a radio station is really cool.
Yeah,
And even being able to run a board, like there's I mean, it's not physically taxing, but like you're operating machinery, right? Like that is operating machinery. It's not
yeah.
just like type, type, type or swipe, swipe, swipe.
Oh, that's the thing that I miss the most is when TMJ was up on Capitol Drive and moved down to these beautiful new studios at the Avenue at the Third Street Market. I don't have a board. I turn on my mic and that's it.
What?
All the board is all run by the producer. And
Oh,
it's like so I'm telling like my new producer's like, well, how did you do the game show before? Did your producer run all this stuff? I go, no, I had two mini disc players with the sound effects. I had the phone. I had my wide orbit to play the music and the open and the this, and I did that. And my producer set up the callers and did that. And he was a part of the game, but I was running this whole thing. And she's like, what? First of all, what's a mini disc?
right.
I'm like, okay. I was like, well, we had it all there, and I had all the cheering on one and all the boos on the other, and I played her a couple of the ones that we used to do, Meg Ryan or the at no point during your rambling thing, blah blah blah. And she's like, you ran all that yourself? I'm like, yeah, and we had to pass a test to run the board, and I miss it because there's so well, me ramble, ramble, ramble. I know when to hit the commercial to get out. I can't anymore. I got to
Man,
do it. I got to do it the radio way and give an ID.
kids these days, man.
It's all computer. And then they're like, you gotta plug the video stream. You got to make sure you're ready to be on camera. I go, no, I don't. I'm in radio. I said I got into this to be on radio. I said I'll do the video stuff if you want, but my priority is the audio. I said, that's what I care about. I'll do the other stuff because it's part of the gig, but the video is never going to take precedence over the audio. Plus they see me like you can right now from my boobies up. That's it.
Which is
Tits
why
up.
we've never worn pants in 4 years. Never worn
I
pants
have
on this
never
show.
worn pants, and I warned my new co-host there maybe just, maybe Speedos to keep things decent in the studio, keep things a little different. Ken says one of his favorite stories was when I was stranded somewhere during a snowstorm with car trouble and the dealership ended up fixing. Yes, that's you and Craig were there, and I was stranded in, was it Memphis? Yes, I was stranded in Memphis. We were driving home after Mardi Gras. And we got caught in a snowstorm, and all the way through Mississippi, my check engine light was on, and I could only go about 25 miles an hour. And we made it, and that's when I again realized that Debbie was not a good navigator. And yes, and I remember doing it from the hotel room, and you and Craig were on with me, or I was on with you. We were on together, and Debbie kept yelling at me to be quiet because we were in a hotel, and I'm like, I'm trying to
That's
talk.
right.
So thank you for that memory, Ken. Danny says, Cody, your son will be proud of you for doing all the things you do. Try to involve him in as many things you do as you can. You'll both appreciate it in the long term.
I saw that. Thank you. I am going to do those things. I
Yes.
do involve him as much as I can.
Well, he's easy to involve because he's all right. First, can I say that? How's his arm?
Oh, the cast is off. The cast is off.
All right. This will be the end. So I see Cody and his family at a little going away party last weekend. And we were standing outside and it was cold and your son had his jacket on. And then I saw him start taking his jacket off and he's looking at me and he's laughing. And all of a sudden he unveils this shoulder to wrist cast in jet black. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? Did you fall off the roof? And no. Did your dad throw you down the stairs? No. What happened? So what happened and how's he doing? And tell, I love what you said that he told you when you were driving over and you told him you were going to see me.
He said Brian's going to freak out which I thought was
That's
hilarious.
hilarious.
Yeah, he just fell on the playground, and there was like a little thing where you kind of walk across to like beams that
Oh.
are like bent, and he's walked over it 100, like a million times.
Yeah,
He's been
yeah.
doing it for a year. He just lost his footing, and poor little
Oh,
guy just
no.
it was like 3 feet off the ground tops, but he just landed wrong on his wrist. There's a
Oh.
little fracture. He does do parkour. He um he basically like it was a tiny thing. The next day he was like, "Oh, my wrist hurts, my wrist hurts." And I was like, what do we do? I went to the pharmacy. She's like, "Yeah, you should go to like call the pediatrician." Pediatrician's like, "Go to urgent care. Urgent care does an x-ray." It's like, it's fractured.
Oh,
So they
no.
put a wrist up around his elbow because he's little and he would pull it off otherwise, potentially. So
Ah,
that's why it was around his elbow, but it was just a little wrist fracture. So he's
okay.
fine. He didn't even care. He bounced like the next day he's running around. He's like, "Look at my cast." He just wanted people to sign it. Like he did not care at all.
I
That
heard the signing stopped, though. Your wife told me the signing stopped.
well, only grandma and grandpa and a few other people were really
Okay.
allowed to do it.
I don't
So
believe yeah, that's listen, you gotta have the right signatures on there. And
yeah.
he picked black because he likes to rock?
I don't know if he picked black or if they gave him black actually.
That seems
Um,
like a dark color for a 4-year-old.
yeah, I'm not
"Hey, you
sure.
want a bright pink or green? No, give that kid black."
My eyes were darting around just now while I was telling that story because in the background of me telling that, I was scrolling through the Facebook page trying to see when the first Reality Is May Vary was,
Yes.
and it was March 17th, 2020.
Wow. That's 4 years we've been doing this.
Yeah, 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 March 17th, 2020.
Wow.
Um,
Holy
Everything
cow.
before that was from the radio station, which is crazy. Like
Yeah.
that was just right before then. So yeah, March 2020. And then, there was another one March 18th? I don't even know. There might have been 2 in a row or something, but yeah,
Maybe.
then we called it Quarantine Cast
Quarantine cast,
when
yep.
we did it, it's really weird. There's actually 3 copies of the video from March 18th for some reason,
Huh.
and then you do one that says, "Okay, that didn't work. I blame the virus." Probably a technical difficulty.
Probably.
I don't know if we did this several days in a row or if there were just a bunch of
Or if we're
issues.
just trying to do it and we couldn't do it.
Oh
Because
my
remember
god.
we tried different streaming services at first till we settled on
A light
Restream.
stream.
We
Oh
were
my
doing it on a couple different services that didn't work and they just
god,
were
there's
awful.
me having not shaved in forever. I remember when I tried to not shave for a long time and my dad saw my wife and me and just said to me like, "Son, that's a lot to ask. That's a lot to ask." My
That's a
hair
lot to
went out of
ask.
control. Oh my god. If you scroll down, I look like Steven Wilson from Porcupine Tree. This is insane.
And
Anyways,
I'm sure I have and my hair got long during that period, and I had a mustache, and a lot of weird physical changes over the last 4 years.
yeah, you had a goatee. Some of these thumbnails even you can see it's just crazy town.
Yeah.
Um,
Cindy says she was here from the start. We appreciate that, Cindy.
Man.
Yeah.
But
So
if you go on podcast apps, the first episode available on Spotify is from November 2020 because
okay.
Brian didn't start to post it on podcast apps until a few months after we had done it on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, and that was, that was Cody giving me advice to go, "All
Was
right,
it?
let's"
I think
yeah.
you just did that.
Well, I don't know. I know it took us a while to settle on this app to broadcast it.
Yeah.
Because it took it we were trying there was always something going on, there was always because that was at the time before before the pandemic, I had never used Zoom or any of those kind of things, and it's amazing what you learn when you have to learn it. So, it has been fun, and maybe every couple months we'll drop by, we'll do one, we'll update things because as weird as this is, and I said it to Debbie the other night because she said one of uh husband of one of the women she works with is has followed us forever. Used to listen overnight, used to this, and the woman goes, "He talks about Brian all the time. It's so weird." To me, which to me is weird. Now, am I grateful? Yes. I am definitely grateful. Somebody texted in the other day after we did the game on Friday. They go, oh, you need to do some Brian Noonan trivia, like what meat will Brian not eat, and what kind of animal was in the pond when Brian was trying to keep the kids from falling in. And it was obvious this person had been listening for a long time. And trust me when I tell you, I don't take that for granted. And you know, Cody and I have done a lot of wacky stuff over the years. You know, Harry Ball's still a classic.
I forgot about Brian's meat. Did I make an intro to that?
Yes, of course.
Was there an intro for that?
There was an intro for Brian's meat.
What the hell was the intro for Brian's
There was,
meat?
I think it was just sizzling sounds and some music.
That was the segment. The segment was what's Brian's meat? What like Brian is making meat, and what is it? And then I would play.
We didn't give any clues or anything.
That's right. We would just play a sizzling sound of meat, and people would call it and have to guess what you were making.
And the funny thing was, the people would guess the most absurd things because that's the kind of things we'd write down the meat before we started.
How did we get away with that?
And the fights, when we were quote unquote fighting the other shows on the
Which
station.
should have gotten us fined egregiously. You know about that, right?
Yes, now I do.
We started the fight with the let's get ready to rumble guy doing his little thing. Apparently that is heavily trademark trolled. And
except at 4 a.m. on a Sunday.
We played that 20 times, 30 times, never got dinged.
Never.
I know another producer that played it on his show and got the station is a $10,000 fine or something.
Yeah.
And just never happened to us.
Never happened to us. That's, we toiled in overall obscurity, except for the people who were with us all the time. And those people, there were people who were with us from the very beginning, who stayed with us through all the travails of that place. And a lot of them have come with me up to Milwaukee, which is great. And a lot of them stayed here with you and I and Craig over these 4 years doing this. And I hope you'll, again, it's not just a shameless plug. We work real hard on it. We're real proud of Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer. So, you can go there. And as Cody said before, because we're turning into just hucksters. That's really what we are now. You can buy Realities May Vary merchandise on at craftybrewerspod.com. So just that's what we're doing. So again, it's not goodbye. It's we'll talk to you later. It's been a blast, Brian and Cody. Been with you guys since the overnights and the Russian roulette game show. I remember Ken sending in, this was back even before, when we either first got the text lines or when we first got Twitter on the show. And Ken wrote in that he had seen me on Russian roulette, which was the second game show that I did. So yeah. And now Ken came out a couple weeks ago when I did stand up in Tinley Park. Ken came and hung out for a little bit. So, and Ken was just like a high school kid when we started. Now he's like a grown man with a job and stuff. Like you didn't even have kids. Now you got kids. You got 2 cars. You're living in the suburbs.
Hang on. You gotta let me share my screen here. I have a screen share request. I found the audio of the Brian's Meat intro.
Oh, hold on. I gotta open the window.
Yeah, you gotta allow it. All right, I think you can hear this. Let me know if you can't. I'm gonna hit play. Can you hear it?
Yep.
Oh, I gotta go back to it. Okay, hang on. Right. Wait. What's it doing? What's thinking? Hold on, let's try this again. Hold on. Let me reload it.
Reload.
Let's try this. Yeehaw! It's time for Brian's Meat on WGN.
All right, carnivores, be the first one to text us at 24720 and correctly identify the specific type of meat that I'm tossing on my grill. You're a smarty pants. What kind of meat is this? If you're the first one to text us at 24720 who tells us the correct type of meat, you're the big winner on Brian's Meat. Woohoo! Eat it up.
And then we were just faded out.
Yeah, just faded out.
Oh,
and
my
then
God.
People would text in different meats. It was fun. But even a great production.
That's an amazing
You were
intro. That is an
yeah.
amazing intro.
Mike says it sounds like we were cooking penguins, and Mike, that is exactly the meat that we were cooking tonight.
Me playing the, like,
Baby
the
penguins.
slide music from Mario 64
Oh,
is that was, like, my favorite thing about producing was using video game music and
oh
playing
yeah.
it on the air. I love video game and wrestling music.
It was fun,
I
and uh, just I remember nights with Roger and us talking about like Star Wars weird stuff for like an hour and just the craziest with Christopher Michael and with Roger and those were great nights. And then you and I have had a lot of fun here. We've welcomed some of the people who used to be on the radio with us have come on here, and of course Craig was here. Barbara is right. It is not ham. There will never be ham on my grill. And Barbara says, "Oh, we won't get to hear about your kids and stuff." Trust me, if something when big events happen, we will come back and do an episode. After because I figure one, people have been hearing about your kids obviously since they were born because they're young. People have been hearing about Molly since I wouldn't even say her name on the air. And if big things happen, we'll come and we will come and show you my shaved head. So
yeah.
again, it's not goodbye. It's see you later. We're gonna take a we're going on hiatus, but we will pop back in. That's the beauty of this. Nobody has to hire us to pop back in. If Cody goes, hey, I got it. Can we do this? Can we live stream the wedding? There's not even an engagement yet. I don't want to get ahead of myself, and I don't want somebody calling Molly tomorrow who might have heard this go, "Are you engaged?" She is not. They are dating. They are happy. I stay out of it. That's
Yeah.
the best way to keep her happy is me to stay out of it.
Yeah, and, if you use podcast apps like Spotify or, like, whatever, follow Reality is Made Very on that because like, it'll automatically download it. If we don't do an episode for 6 months, it'll still download it.
Yeah.
Like, for Game Life Balance US, which I do with John, my friend John, we went like a year without doing an episode, literally a year, and then we released one just for funsies. And our sister show in Australia, they tweeted like the next day. They're like, "Oh my god, a new episode from you guys!" So it's in Podcastistan, podcast Lanzia, people are kind of obsessed with like regularity and sticking to a particular publishing cadence.
Right.
Is the conventional wisdom, but like as a listener, hopefully for you guys, like for you if you're listening, like um because of the medium at the same time, you can just like be pleasantly surprised down the line as long as you're just following stuff. Just like keep following the show on Facebook, follow us on
Yeah.
YouTube, like whatever, follow us places. And once in a while you'll see a little ding notification bell and it's like, haha, new realities may vary. You didn't see it coming. And then you'll be like, great. And it's cool. And it's a fun little surprise. So
Yeah. And thank you all for your support. Thank you for the lovely comments. Mike bringing up Emperor Finahito. Rest in peace, Emperor
yeah,
Finahito. Cannot do it. I don't think we can do the Emperor anymore.
definitely can't do that
Can't.
anymore.
All right, definitely can't do the Emperor anymore.
Yeah.
So there. So
But no,
we.
thank you for the really kind comments. They were very nice.
Yeah. All right. So long, farewell, auf
Yeah, I
Wiedersehen,
gotta go. I
goodbye.
got a lot of shit to
You
do.
got
I have
stuff to
so much.
do.
Look at my list of things that I have in my life. I have to go read the last chapter of Ulysses and then become intolerable on
I
Twitter.
can't wait for you to just nonstop tell us that you read Ulysses.
It is literally going to be nonstop. My entire Twitter profile and bio and name and content are all exclusively going to be about me talking about the fact that I finished Ulysses, with the implication being that and you didn't. And
Oh, sure.
it's gonna
Now the
be
question will follow: did you understand it?
I had a book club with my wife who has presented at a
Okay.
Ulysses conference, so I was made to understand it.
There you go. There you go. Well, thank you, Danny. As Cody said, everybody, last time, subscribe to Realities May Vary, and you will get notifications when we pop back in for fun surprise episodes.
RMV.
All
And
right.
with that, I think that boom.
Ooh, a light show. This is going to be exciting.
Brian,
What's up, Taker?
it's the Undertaker. I just wanted to tell your listeners that this podcast will rest in peace. Bong.
Wow. That was intense.
What happened, Brian? Did the Undertaker show up?
How did you know?
That's so weird. I
That is weird.
had a strange premonition.
I heard the bong and then I knew we were in for trouble.
I did too.
What happened, Cody? Did the Undertaker grab you by the throat?
Allergies might be acting up just
Oh,
like with
okay.
you. Okay, I gotta go.
All
We gotta
right.
go. Bye.